This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast. Hey, friends, welcome to All Have Another podcast with Lindsay Hine. I'm your host, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us today. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Foot Levelers. If you are looking for an amazing orthotic that supports all three arches of your foot, is flexible, and is custom for you, check out Foot Levelers. Go to footlevelers.com and just go to their homepage and click on the Find a Provider Near Me to see if you can get set up with someone who can help you get a custom orthotic that is perfect for your specific foot. All right, today on the show, my guest is Aubrey Frentheway. She just placed 12th at the Chicago Marathon. She was the fourth American to finish running a 2:27. She also ran a 2:27 at the Grandma's Marathon this past summer. She debuted the marathon last year in Chicago running 2:35, and she really dialed in her nutrition since then and figured out how to best fuel for the marathon. In this episode, we talk about jumping to the marathon at a young age. She's only a couple years removed from college. She ran at BYU with Coach Diljeet Taylor, and now she is running with Ed Eyestone's group. So she trains with Makenna Myler, Keira D'Amato, Emily Venters, and has so many great things to say about that group. She's also a math teacher, so she teaches math to middle school students as well. She runs for Saucony, and she's already excited to get after it for her next marathon. So really exciting to have this conversation with Aubrey, and go find her on Instagram and give her a little love, give her some support. She's AubreyMarie.f over there. All right, friends, if you enjoy the conversation, please leave us a quick rating and review. We are giving away a Tailwind package to all the new reviews through the end of October. I saw a couple new ones come in recently. Your odds of winning are great, though, because there's not a ton that flow in. The newest one, Holly Does a Half, was from Monday. Just found this somehow, and I've been binging since. Love Lindsay's vibe, and it's full of great info. It has become one of my favorite running podcasts. Wow, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, so when new people find the show, that's really exciting to me. So thank you so much for leaving that review. All right, enjoy this conversation with Aubrey Frentheway. Friends, I am so excited to have Aubrey Frentheway on the podcast today. Fourth American in Chicago, 18th overall, 2:27. Welcome to the show, Aubrey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We finally figured it out. We got this recording going. We've been going back and forth for a few weeks.
Yes, I'm glad that it worked out. We both have busy schedules, so it was good to find a time that finally worked. So
yeah, we were going to do this possibly before Chicago, and now I'm like, oh wait, this is better. We can actually talk about the race and see what went down.
Yeah, and we can unload. I feel like every race, but especially the marathon, since it's so long, you just have so many thoughts. Like I keep bringing it up to my husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, and then I have to tell you about this part, and
Totally.
it's like there's just so much to digest. So this is good.
I miss that feeling. I haven't run a marathon in a while, and I miss that, and also just having someone who actually cares for the breakdown,
Yes.
right? You go into work and people are like, okay, yeah, you ran a marathon, but talking to someone who knows.
Yeah, and who watched it, and was invested in it with you is so much more exciting. Yeah, people at work will ask me about it. I'm like, good. I don't know what else to say. I'm like, well, I could tell you about mile 13 and my panic attack, and then my fueling issue, and then this, and then at the start, anyway, but I'm like, I'll just leave it at good.
Yeah.
Yes, people that know the marathon and are invested in it and everything is very fun to digest all the details. I talked to some of my teammates last week. I was on fall break for school as well, and so I went in there and I was just talking to Connor and Courtney and all of them, and I was just digesting it, and they just were laughing. It was oh wait, and then here on this part, and I was just trying to get their advice, Anyway, it was really fun. So I had a good day.
So good. What do you do? I know you said you work part-time. What do you do for work?
Yeah, I teach middle school, so 8th grade math. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So how does that work out with it being part-time? I mean, that's so great that you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, what I have I know that a lot of people do it very differently depending on the schedules of the school, but our school, the same kids come to class. They have all their classes every day, and so I just work half days from, like, 11 to 3:30 every day, and I really like it. I think it gives me a little bit more structure, but I can still make it to my workouts and everything just fine in the morning, so, yeah, it's been really good.
That's, like, so perfect, and 11 to 3:30, those are, like, the
I
perfect
know.
hours to be at work.
I know, they really are, right? Like, it's great.
Yeah, my son's in middle school, and I went to their, like, open house, and he's always telling me how math is really hard because it's after lunch, and he's tired, but I went into that room, and it was, like, kinda hot, his teacher's kinda monotone, and I was like, "This would be really hard
Oh.
right after lunch."
Yeah, it would be so hard. I know. I try to keep it, like, as upbeat as I can. I'm like, "All right, we're gonna get up today. We're gonna be on the whiteboards, like,
Getting up
whatever
and
you can
moving
do."
around, that's, like, so
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, you need it. Yeah, it's hard, and I have all the kids after lunch too, so I can tell they're kind of just, like, done. I'm like, "All right, how can I make this exciting?"
Do they have a recess? I'm always like, I think that middle school kids could still really benefit from our little recess.
I wish they did. I think they need it because I can tell, like, by the end of the day, they are just gone. Like, like, I don't wanna be here, but they they don't they have lunch where they can go outside, but the lunch isn't super long. It's only, like, 25 minutes, and I think that includes passing period, so it's pretty quick, and,
For sure.
like, I even am having a hard time finishing my lunch. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't eat lunch there anymore since I'm part-time, but when last year when I was working full-time, I was having a hard time, so I'm like, "I don't know how these kids have time to eat and go outside and run around, but they need, like, that 10 more minutes to just go run."
Totally. Okay, so you went from full-time to part-time.
Yeah.
Was that when you picked up your Saucony sponsorship? What did that look like?
Yeah, good question. So the first year of my, when I signed with Saucony right after I graduated college in April 2 years ago, I signed with Saucony, but it was kind of like it was kind of a unique situation where they weren't gonna pay like a contract start until the following year. They just didn't have it like in their budget to pay that full. So I got the gear, I got like the race stuff and all of that, and then the contract started that next year. And so my husband's in physical therapy school right now, and we were like, "Okay, well, we we like we gotta have money," like, he had been our whole marriage up until that point, so I could run and go to school, he had been working, and then when he was starting grad school, I was like, "Hey, I gotta work," and so I worked full time that first year, and it was really hard for sure,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a lot, and so that whole first year was, like, getting up at 4:30, 5 a.m. to teach and then or I mean, sorry, to run and then to teach, and then when it got too dark, it was, like, doing it after, wouldn't get home till, like, 8 p.m. It was just a lot, and so um, yeah, it was really I feel very fortunate now this year to have part-time, and honestly, I feel like having that full-time and then going to part-time was, like, the best. I don't know, I feel like I appreciate it so much more now, like, the whole first, couple months of the year, I'd be, like, driving to school, I'm like, "I'm almost in happy tears right now that it's not 7 a.m."
Oh.
And I get to work out with people because last year I was still being coached by Ed, but I wasn't, like, with the group because no one I mean, I don't expect anyone to go at 5 a.m. in the morning, so, yeah, it's been really nice now to be able to, yeah, have that schedule and everything, but
Yeah, because, like, if you picked it up after not having anything, it'd be totally reverse effect. You're like, "I gotta do this now." But if you have
yeah,
to be there at 11, like, are you guys
yeah,
working out at, like, 8 a.m.? Because I mean, you still gotta get home and shower and everything, and because
yeah.
I feel like most pro runners work out at, like, 9, 10.
I know. So we do luckily, when it's hot and it's summertime, we'll go at 7:30 or even 7 sometimes when it's too hot.
That's good.
But we've been going at, like, 8. I do feel kind of bad because a lot of them like to go at, like, 8:30, and I'm like,
Yeah.
8:30 is just like that 30 minutes is just too far. So
Uh-huh.
when I'm there, we always go at 8. And then there was one time where, something happened and people, like, couldn't go till 8:30, and I was like, "Well, I'll just work out a little bit earlier," and it was just fine. It was like, I can do it a couple days alone, it's okay. But yeah, we usually work out at 8, and then we'll go till, it is kind of a rush because I like you said, I have to shower, I have to make sure that I eat and all that, and then get to work in time. So, yeah, next year, I'm like, I wonder if I can even go, like, 12 and so
Yeah.
because right now, usually teachers have a prep period,
Uh-huh.
but I ended up, like they did what's called selling your prep, and so it just adds, like they yeah, so you don't have one period off. You just have I teach all periods that I'm there, if that makes sense. And so I think if I just had like that one more period off, it would give me that extra 50 minutes of time. So I don't know, we'll see. This year they were like, we need you to do it because it was like they had too many kids. But next year I'm like, maybe, I don't know. So, but 11's great. I'm not complaining,
Yeah,
but it would be really nice to have like 12,
totally.
so we can go at like 8:30. But anyway, it's nice.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I interview one person from a group, I'm just realizing like, well, I've been really Ed Eyestone group specific
Yeah.
lately. It's super
Yes.
fun though because I do feel like that group is having a moment. Would you feel like that from the inside?
Yeah. Wait, tell me what you mean by it so I can make sure I answer correctly.
I love that you asked that. Um, just like a lot of people are joining and we're hearing people talk
Yeah.
about it more. And well, obviously you have Connor on the team, but like Emily and Keira and Makenna, like, is it that you're adding a lot of women? I don't know. It just seems like it's being talked about a lot more than it was even 2 years ago. Was
Yeah.
Ed mostly just coaching the guys at that point?
I hear you. Now I'm excited to elaborate. So I
Love
feel
it.
like yes. I feel like what happened, so when I was signing, it was kind of like I wasn't sure if like Ed was taking on more people or if he was even taking on women in general because he has been coaching men and that has been his career, right? And so I just wasn't sure and I wasn't sure like I don't know. I get nervous to ask because I like I don't know. And so I wasn't really sure right away. And then so right away I actually had like Jared Ward help me for like a while. It was like the
Oh,
first couple months, which was actually
love
awesome because
him.
then it helped me kind of transition. Yeah, it kind of transitioned from like Coach Taylor's style workouts, and he did it really well to like transition to Ed. So then when I transferred to Ed, I felt very prepared. But anyways, back to the question. I feel like it was when I found out that Kira was joining. I was like, okay, that's where I want to be. Like I didn't know Kira at the time, but I knew of her obviously.
Hmm.
And I was just such a fangirl, still am, of Kira. And I just felt like she was just from what I could see on Instagram and what's come true to me in person from getting to know her is that she's just a solid person. Like she's fun, she helps her teammates out, she's just like good to be around in running and in life in general. And so when I heard that she was moving down, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane." And so I like reached out to Coach Eyestone and I was like, "Hey, I'd really like to, be coached by you." And he was excited about it and it ended up being great. And so I think kind of with everyone joining, there's a lot of runners in Utah.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of women runners that are either like pro or like they've been working out alone. Like there was like Emily was working out alone for a while. Mika Wood was working out alone for a while. And like I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's just like a lot of us that have been in Utah and we were kind of all working out alone and we're like, this is kind of a waste. Like, why are we all doing this? Like we're all like working towards similar goals. And I just feel like it was like when one more person joined, we're like, wait, I want another person to join. And so I feel like we've all kind of seen like the energy of the group and people looking in are like, I want to be a part of that. Like that was kind of where I came from. I was like, I don't want to miss out on that. I want to be a part of that. And so I think it's that group energy and it's the like with Makenna, it's like all of us are just excited to succeed and we're excited to help each other succeed. And so I think when people see that, they want to be a part of it. And it goes a long way. It goes in, it's not even just helping us with our running, but it's helping us with our like outside life as well. And I feel like we're all growing together. And I think just people want to be a part of it and people want to hear about it because people love to hear about cool things, like good things.
I just love so much that you asked for clarification of the question because I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of times people are just going to run with whatever I say. And I'm like, wait, you want to like really truly answer this in a
Yes.
meaningful way? Yeah, it's
Yes.
interesting too because you've got like two moms in the group, right? Do you have more than that?
Yeah.
And then you have a dad.
Just two. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have, and then you have like some younger athletes like you and Emily. I
Yeah.
always feel like that gives me like old school NAZ vibes where like you have a bunch of runners that have families and then you have the newer ones coming in. And so you can kind of like the runners that have been around a while can like feed off this like young, fresh
Yes.
energy. And then you guys
Yeah.
can be like mentored a little bit by the more seasoned runners.
Yes. That for sure has been something that has just been huge for me. I love getting all the advice that I can get. Like I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier about how last week I was just kind of talking to everybody and I was on my break and my school break. So it was just I just talked for like hours.
You're
So
like,
I
I
wasn't
got a
even
lot
there
to talk
running.
about.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like I just came to practice and just wanted to like talk to everybody. And it really is like honestly, I was sitting there just like so grateful because I was like, I have like Connor who's willing to talk to me, you know, he just broke the American record. I have Clayton who's been to worlds and the Olympics, and then Courtney Frericks who's been to the Olympics and medaled, and like Keira who's broken, like all of these amazing people. It's amazing people, and they're all willing to just like give advice and just talk. And I was like, this is so I yes, I do feel that mentorship from them for sure. And I love how like freely they give it, if that makes sense. Like I feel like they were just so willing to like hash out the race and just like give me advice, and I was just loving it. I felt like a little kid on like Christmas morning. I was like, okay, I'm so excited for just to talk to everybody. And so I feel like that energy is really fun because I have like yeah, that like younger energy of like just getting into it. And I'm just feeding off of all the mentorship that I can get from these amazing athletes. So
So good. Yeah, I forgot about Courtney Frericks being in the group too.
yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, so let's talk about your marathon progression. So
Okay.
2:35 in Chicago last year, then you go
Yeah.
to run Grandma's 2:27.
Yeah.
And then you run 2:27 in Chicago. I guess my first question is you jumped to the marathon quick. Tell me about deciding to run the marathon so early in your professional career.
Yeah. So that was I was so scared of it. And so it was partially one reason why I wanted to do it. It's kind of funny because I feel like growing up, well, I guess like in my early stages of running, like through high school and like college, when you would say that you're a runner, the first question is like, what's your mile time? And then have you run a
Yeah,
marathon?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
for me, I was always like frustrated because I was like, well, I'm a 5K, 10K girl. I don't run the mile. So if I tell you that, it's not that impressive. And then, but then I was like, and no, I haven't run a marathon, but I do other cool things. And so for a while, it's kind of funny 'cause for a long time, I was like, I'm never running a marathon, never gonna do it just to prove a point. And then when I got towards the end of college, I quickly realized that that was probably not a thing, going to be a thing for me if I wanted to continue this. And in my head, when I graduated college, I was very done with the track. I was just done with it. It was not going super well for me, and I just felt frustrated on the track. And so I was like, I want to continue running, and I was like, okay, I know that's going to be roads, but in my head, roads meant marathon. Like I know this is going to sound dumb, but I like didn't really realize that there were other races. Like I obviously the half marathon, the marathon, but I like didn't realize how big all these other races were. Like just ran like the 12K or 20Ks or like 10K. Like
Uh-huh.
I just didn't think about that. And so when I graduated college, I was like, I want to run pro, and my marathons like that's what I got to do. And so I quickly realized that was not the case. There's a lot of other races to do. But I had kind of set my mind on like I want to do a fall marathon. And so I feel like once I set my mind on it, like, that's what was going to happen. And fast forward though to like the summer, I was having a lot of fun in these like smaller race, you know, like shorter races. And I was kind of changing my mind. I'm like, you know, I do want to do the marathon, but eventually, like I feel so young, like I'm not quite ready for it. And I didn't really communicate that to my agent super well, and so, like, I didn't communicate at all, and so he had worked really hard to get me into like, a fall marathon, and he emails me, he's like, "Congratulations, you got into Chicago." I was like, "Oh, no. Oh, no, I don't know if I'm ready to do this." But I just feel like honestly, I feel like that was the best thing that coulda happened because I like to just rip the Band-Aid off and just get started because I'm never gonna be I feel like it takes me a lot of practice to get good at something, and I feel like that's I don't know, I've just noticed that in everything, like, if we get a new like, a ping pong table, I'm terrible for a while, and then it, like, takes me a while to get good at, and so I feel like, doing it really early was even though it was really scary, I feel like it was probably the best thing for me because I learned so much from that first marathon. I wouldn't say it was, like, a terrible experience, or, like, performance. I also would not say it was a great performance at all. But I felt like I learned so much, and that's propelled me into these better performances where I feel like, I've been able to, you know, run well, and I feel like you learn so much from each one of them, and I am very grateful that I started it early, even though it was a little bit of a crash and burn with the fuel. But I feel like I needed that to kind of, yeah, go in like, propel me into these next ones, and yeah, so there's kind of my why I did it so early.
Who's your agent?
Ray Flynn. He's
Cool.
awesome.
I met him for the
Yeah.
first time in person in
Oh,
Chicago. I've, like,
he's
emailed
so
with him a few
kind, huh?
times. Yes. I was like
Yeah,
honestly, I was telling Erica Kemp this. I was like, I was a little bit intimidated by him, and then I met
me
him in
too.
person. You were? Okay.
Yeah,
And then I met him in
he's
person,
just
and I was
like
like,
a
"Oh, he's
big
so
name.
friendly."
Yeah, yeah. He's a big name, and I feel like I was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm kinda nervous," but no, he's, like, so kind and just awesome to work with, and yeah, he's good at what he does for sure, so
Yeah. I think I was intimidated because he's, like, short and to the point in email, you know?
oh,
Uh,
that's yeah, that is true. Yeah,
but then I was like, "Oh, we, like, chatted," because he brought Connor to, the expo where they had, like, a
yeah,
thing he was doing with shocks. So I was, like, sitting in the back room talking to him for a while, and I was like, "Oh, you're, like, a really nice person." I mean, that's
yeah.
usually the case, right? Like,
Yes, usually.
so shame on me for having preconceived notions based on
No.
email tone.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey friends, did you know I'm going to be the MC at the CNO Financial Monumental Marathon here in a couple weeks on November 8th? I'm so excited to be at the start line and the finish line cheering runners all day long. We are also doing a really cool event that Saturday. It is a celebration post race. It is from 4:30 to 6:30 at Bottleworks Hotel, and guest of honor Emily Infeld will be there. I will be interviewing her for a live recording of my podcast, but that is going to be a shorter recording. We're only going to do like 30 minutes recording, and the majority of the time is going to be a big celebration for all of you who just ran the 5K, the half marathon, or the marathon. We're going to have lots of goodies and fun. We're going to have food and drink, call them appetizers. So you'll want to make dinner plans for afterwards because it's 4:30 to 6:30. It's going to be great. We've got some great sponsors and giveaways coming up with that. So make sure you're following along on Instagram, Lindsay Hine 626. And then you can grab your tickets there as well. I've got the link to buy tickets in my profile. I really hope to see you there. It's going to be so much fun. And this episode is made possible by Previnex. I'm a big believer in their products. I start my day every day with their gut and green superfoods. I love and my kids love their protein powder, and I'm a daily user of their Joint Health Plus. Check them out. Go to Previnex.com and use the code ANOTHER for 15% off your order. If you are looking for high quality supplements that work, stick with Previnex. Previnex.com. Use the code ANOTHER for 15% off. Back to the show. You did win the 20K champs leading up to Chicago. So that
Yeah.
probably this year. So that probably had to give you some good confidence going into Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. So, I feel like this build was kind of all over the place. It was so long story I would say long story short, but I just know I'm gonna
Do it.
talk, so long
Give it.
story long.
Do it.
Um, before grandma's marathon, I actually like, it was, like, 2 to 3 weeks before, I had this hamstring like, upper hamstring thing that, like, I tweaked it, and I'm not sure where or how it happened, I've never had that happen before, and so I kinda tweaked it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm, like, feeling it, it's not that bad, like, whatever," and you're 2 to 3 weeks out, you're like, "I'm gonna race it regardless," so I kinda tweaked it, but then it was, like, getting better, it really was not a big deal at all, and usually, these things just kind of go away, like,
Yeah.
I've been so grateful to have like the last year and a half of like no injuries. Anyway, so kind of tweaked that and then I raced the marathon on it and it got pretty angry. And then I kind of took like a week off and it was just a weird week off because I had this anyway. I had like it was unrelated to running but like an abdominal surgery. It was super minimal but like it was just a weird week off because after being like on these like pain meds, I didn't really feel the hamstring. I'm like, "Oh, I healed. Awesome, I healed." And then with Chicago
Oh,
being so
sure.
early,
Yeah.
yeah, we were like, "Hey, it's a quick turnaround." So I only took like a week and a couple days off even with like the surgery and everything. And so I feel like I just came back really quick from that and come to find out the hamstring was not healed once I,
Mm,
got off all like the ibuprofen and all of that, like the hamstring was not healed. But I was like, "Oh, it's still like not that bad. Like we'll just keep training on it." And so this build has just like anyway, it got bad again. It's just been like this roller coaster of like it's really bad and then like it's not that bad and it's really bad. And so even like leading up to 20Ks, I was like, my hamstring just hurts. And I was like, I don't even know if I should do Chicago. Like, I feel like it was like every other week. I was like, I'm doing Chicago. I'm not doing Chicago. I'm doing Chicago. I'm not doing Chicago. So leading up to 20Ks, that did give me some confidence for sure, because I felt like I was like, okay, although this is hurting, and although I feel like I've been really consistent with workouts, but it's just been painful. And so I was like, although I've been through this pain, I feel like it's leading somewhere great, right? Like I'm still fit, like I'm still, even though maybe I'm like matching my highest, I'm not like I didn't feel like I was necessarily like doing anything crazy. Like no workouts were crazy, no mileage was like higher than ever. It was just kind of like we're just gonna maintain, And I felt like I was like, okay, we actually are still gaining fitness. Like this is awesome. And all in all, I'm really grateful I did do Chicago. I learned a lot from it, and but I like now I'm dealing with it got really bad. It's pretty angry. And so I usually take like 1 week and then run the second week. I tried to run this week and it was just not going to happen. And so we're kind
Mm-mm.
of figuring out, we're going to order some imaging and see what's going on. But yes, it did give me a lot of confidence, especially with how I felt like how rocky the build was going just with like this injury. I was like, I just
Right.
can't get through it. So yeah, I feel like it was a lot of confidence, and I'm grateful I did it, because had I not done that, I think I would have been a lot more timid going into Chicago of like, I don't know how it's gonna hold up. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, up until that point, I was like, okay, I can race on it. It's just gonna hurt and it's just pain. It's okay. So very grateful I did that. And I do think that kind of opened the door to me like I feel like for a long time, I just hadn't really seen myself as, like, one of the top runners. I was like, "I wanna be good, but I'm not, like, one of the," and after winning that, I was like, "Okay, maybe I can be, like, up there," you
Oh,
know? So,
yeah.
I think it was a really good, like, eye-opening experience of, like, "Okay, I can do this," and like, yeah, just came made a few things more realistic to me, so
Oh, you got so much in you, and you're so
Oh, thank
young.
you.
Like, there's so
Thank you.
many more tapes you're gonna break. You're gonna knock
I
that
hope.
227 way down. Like, there's just the world is
I
your
hope.
oyster.
I was hoping in Chicago, I was like, I just felt so ready to run, like, really fast, and
Yeah.
not that I didn't run, like, super I don't know, it was just like, "Dang it." Like, you do this whole build up and this
Yeah.
whole thing, and you're going through pain, and you're like, "Oh," and then you get to the race, and you're like, "Wait, I for sure thought I was gonna go faster than that." So it is kind of hard with that. It's like
I
and I knew
know.
that going in. I'm like, not every race is gonna be a PR. It's just hard when it's the marathon because you get like 1 to 2 a year, and that's it. And so it's so hard to be like, "Well, darn, all that build up for not a PR," but you still gain so much, so it's okay.
Totally. Well, it's actually really cool that you ran as fast as you did, given what that build was, because
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the, like, up and down, and the hamstring, like, did
Yeah.
you feel it most of the race?
Yeah, the whole time, but
I mean,
I
that's
feel like
huge.
I feel like I've gotten to the point where okay, I have this thing where I call it my race week injuries. I get really stressed and I feel like something always starts hurting, which is what I kind of thought this was before grandma's. But anyway, so I had this thing in my foot that had started hurting the week before Chicago, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. Now I have my hamstring, now I
Yeah.
got my foot, and I got," like I was like, "My body's just falling apart. This is ridiculous. What am I even doing?" And so I feel like in the race, when it was my hamstring, I was like, well, at least this is a familiar pain.
Right.
And
I
so
know this.
that was like almost comforting. Not, I mean, in a very weird way where I was like, okay, this is hurting, but like I know this pain and I know that like I've done 24-mile long runs on it. I've trained for 4 months on it. And I've done a marathon on it. Like I know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay after? Probably not, but it was okay during. So yeah, it was just I think what happened that day was probably I don't know, I kind of said this a little bit in my post where I felt like I just feel like your hardest fights and like your toughest battles and races always are usually a result that's maybe not super shiny. Like I didn't get like a 225, a 224, like this really, like big PR again, but I was like the fight that I had to go through during that was it just meant a lot more than what it showed. And I feel like that happens a lot because when you're not on your best day, it just takes that much more effort. And there's that thing too where when you're running well and you know that you're on pace for like this amazing PR, you're going for the first American. Like I do feel like you get like a high. Like for 20Ks, for example, like the beginning of that race genuinely felt worse than the end of it because when I knew that I was in the lead, I was like, this is awesome. I'm feeling great, even though it was still really hurting,
Yeah.
you know, it was just like everything felt better. And so I do feel like there's both sides of that where it's like, yeah, it just can sometimes feel a lot harder. But
No, that's so true, and it's like the time is what's on the paper, but, like, that
yeah,
doesn't share any of the details that
anything.
went into it. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned you had a panic attack or a mild attack at mile 13. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So at halfway, and looking back, this is probably my biggest regret in the race because the marathon is up and down. Like you feel great, you feel terrible, then you feel great, then you feel terrible. And one thing that Coach Eyestone told me before grandma's actually, he was like, "You're gonna feel awful, you're gonna feel great, and just like, but as you go, just know that you're gonna be still be trending downwards. You know, like obviously, like as you get further in, you're gonna feel great, you're gonna feel awesome, but maybe the awesomes aren't gonna feel awesome and the great, and
Uh-huh.
the bads are gonna feel a little worse anyway. And so you're kind of trending down, but you're just going through these waves." So kind of what happened around halfway, I've only had 2 marathons to compare it to, and so I feel like I panicked a little bit, but what happened was I started feeling really bad. It was just one of those ways where I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it," you know? And when I was at grandma's, it just happened that at halfway, I was feeling awesome. It just happened, you know? And so and then the first Chicago that I did when I kind of bonked with the fuel was yeah, at halfway, I was starting to feel really bad. And then after that, it was just like, it was no more of
Mm.
this, it was just this.
Yeah.
And that was because of the fuel. I didn't take near what I should have. But this time, so when I got to halfway, I was like, number one, it was kind of like this PTSD thing of where I was like, I'm in Chicago again. This is the same spot last year where I started not feeling good. I felt good at grandma's. And so I was like, oh my gosh, no, 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 no. And so my first thought was, okay, I'm not taking enough fuel, which that was dumb. I should have just trusted that it was going to be okay because I had taken all of my fuel. I had been so good. I'm so proud of myself, but I had taken all of my fuel. I had done everything right. And so it really was just one of the waves. But instead, I kind of like panicked. I always take emergency gels with me in
Mm.
my pockets
Smart.
just in case I miss a bottle. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, it's fine. I have this gel. So backstory on the gels make me throw up, but I do have them as emergency just in case. And so I was like, oh, I can do it. I'm not going to throw this one up. And I took it and naturally I threw up. I think
Oh,
part of it was
no,
like,
at mile 13
I
of the
know.
marathon?
Well, actually, I waited a few miles. I was like, "Oh, I'll wait till, like, mile 14 or so,"
Okay.
and then I took it, and then I was like, "Uh-oh." And so
Came
what
up.
happened, I think it was, like yeah, it just came right back up, and I think what happened too is because I was so on top of my fuel, my body really was topped off, like, it didn't need
You didn't
any
need it.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like threw it up and it just like I had to stop, you know, to like throw up. And then it was just like I just feel like after that it just became even more mental of like, oh, maybe I really am not do feeling good. Like I'm not doing well. And then after that was even my bottles were just kind of hard to take after that. And so I don't think it really became a huge fueling issue at that point in the race. But I do think come mile 20, had I not thrown up fuel and had I
Mhm.
been like taking it like I was taking it, I
Mhm.
would have felt a little bit better. But yeah, it was just kind of that like moment of panic that I just wish so bad I would have just been like, Aubrey, it's okay. Like these waves happen. Like let's just breathe instead of just like panicking and like taking the gel. And I don't know, it's hard in hindsight's 2020, right? Like in the moment, I thought I was being so smart. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take my emergency gel. And honestly, like explaining it, I'm like, it really wasn't that dumb. It was just like I should have just trusted, is what I wish I would have
Yeah,
done. So yeah, it was a little bit of panic there, and I think when I'm anxious, it also makes you kind of have that gag reflex. So there's just a lot of things
totally.
that added to it, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories inside of the marathon. You know,
I know.
I'm repeating myself, but we just said that time on paper,
Yeah,
essentially the same
yeah,
time you ran at grandma's, but like nobody knew that you threw up at mile
I know,
15,
I
and
know.
then you had that like mental fight of like, this is where it fell apart last year.
I felt like every mile after that was just this, and I didn't realize because I feel like, and maybe I'm sounding really dramatic, but I feel like I kind of blanked a lot of the race in Chicago the first time. I kind of like, I don't know if I
Uh
didn't
huh.
remember or if I just put it out of my mind because, like, genuinely, I was in a lot of pain. Like, that was so bad. Anyway. And so I feel like this time, like every like corner, I like remembered so distinctly all of a sudden that I like hadn't even thought that I had remembered, if that makes sense. And so I feel like every corner was like, "Oh no, this is where like I was
Uh
dying." Like
huh.
I literally was like barely running at the end of that race. And so it's just like there was a lot of that, and I wish that I would have just like just like calmed down and realized what it was rather than just like letting it fuel oh, you don't feel good, because really a lot of how you feel is what your mind tells you that you feel, I feel like. And so, yeah, I think my mind was just telling me like, oh, you feel bad, you feel bad, you feel bad, and I was like, actually, it probably wasn't. I mean, I did feel terrible, but like you always do at the end. It was okay. So,
Right. It's like a normal feeling. Yeah, but you were having
yeah.
flashbacks.
I
What
know.
what steps did you take to make the nutrition and fueling, hydration and everything? Like you obviously elevated what you were doing and you're doing it
Yeah.
well now. So what did you change?
Yeah, the biggest thing I changed was so okay, yeah, I was talking earlier about, like, mentorship and how, like, I do a lot of like, I love that. I think one of my downfalls is that sometimes I don't pay attention to what my body actually needs, and so I was kind of just using whatever everybody else used, and I wasn't really paying attention, or I was just trying to copy what other people did, if that makes sense. Like, I would buy the what fuel they were using, and then
Mhm.
I would watch when they would take it, and then I would take it, rather than like, "Hey, does that make sense? Rather than, like, knowing when I wanted to.
Yeah.
And so I made a big change. I think it was really good for me to, like, have to work out alone a little bit because it made me figure this out. And so I ended up just trying a lot of different gels, and I ended up finding that, Never Second works really well for me. Just it's a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
less heavy. Yeah, it's, like,
I've heard of that.
really like, the gels are pretty thin, and when I have the drink mix, it does sometimes some drink mixes feel, like, really thick when you take them, then it's hard to take. But this drink mix just feels like it's really, like, it's thin, and it, like, goes down easy. And so I started doing Never Second, and then I started making sure that, like, I was taking it every 5K. And so I feel like that really helped me, rather than, like,
That's a
watching
lot.
this, because yeah, it is a lot, and I think it was, like, really helpful for me to, like, make sure that I was being in control of when I was taking it. And I think, again, I it's awesome to, like, look at support. I just think you have to be really careful that you still are making sure that you're doing what you need, if that makes sense. And so I feel like with fuel especially, it's so individualized. Like, somebody might really like this certain gel, but it might make me throw up, or well, all gels kind of make me throw up, but like and I feel like you have to be really careful and really. And I started working with a sports dietitian. He really helps me. He did like some sweat testing, so I could really individualize even like the sodium, because I the carbs are anyway. He helped me with like all of it. He like
Yes.
told me like. I'm the type of person with numbers too, it's like, hey, you have to take this much. And so he's like, your goal is 60 to 90 an hour. That means we need to be taking about 30 per 5K. And 30 is on the high end, so like it's comforting, because if I don't finish the bottle, or like I get almost to
Yeah.
the way, so that's kind of what I did. Is I just made sure I was like, hey, 30 grams every 5K, I need to take it. And then we worked on my sodium. We saw exactly like how much sodium I was losing and like how much I needed. And I feel like that really helped me, because now like I'm very diligent about taking the fuel. I'm like, oh, it's 5K. It's I call it Slurpee time because one of the Never Seconds tastes like a Slurpee. So yeah, every
So
5K is my Slurpee time.
is Never Second, like, it's a gel you mix with water in your bottles?
Yeah, good question. So it's actually like a drink powder.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I just like shake it up in the bottle. And then the gels are usually just so I can have them on me. I used to take them just fine. I don't know what happened. It just all of a sudden started making.
They have
So
gels too, though. Those are the
yeah,
ge
they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do really like their gels because they're very thin, and they're not like chunky. Like some of them are kind of
Yeah.
chunky. And so I feel like it goes down pretty easy. But yeah.
I think they're the fuel on course at the Monumental Marathon here in a couple weeks. Somebody
Yeah.
said they're like the American Morton or something, like, they're very similar to the Morton
They are very
product?
similar, yeah. I
Okay.
haven't tried a ton of Morton, but I do like a lot of the flavors of Never Second. Like,
Okay.
they just, like, agree well, and now I'm scared to change it because I'm like,
No, don't
"Well, I
change
just
it.
don't." Yeah,
Don't
I'm
do
never
that.
gonna change it. But, yeah, no, I really like them. I feel like they're really focused on, like, cycling, and so I think that they're now getting more into roads. But, I mean, fuel is fuel if you're hitting your numbers, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like amateurs and pros alike, like, if you have a hard first marathon, it's, like, almost always goes back to
The
fueling,
fuel. It does, yeah.
because if you don't nail it, and it's something about that extra 10K in the marathon, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
It is, yeah.
it's because even if you do a bunch of 24-mile runs, like, the effort isn't race pace and for the entire 24 miles, and then you've got
Yeah.
the extra 2 there.
Yeah.
That's so good that you have it figured out, though. Okay, no more
Yeah, I
gels
feel like
mid-race.
I know, no more gels, at least until I practice a lot. I feel like it was also, like, yeah, like you said, if you don't have it nailed, like, you have to really know what you're taking because in the race, you're not gonna wanna take it any more than you wanted to in practice. And so if you're not like, "This is
Right.
when I take it, this is what I take," you're probably not going to hit what you need to hit. So it's
Yeah.
just and honestly, I feel like a lot of people told me that, and I had all the support in the world. I just didn't listen. And I didn't mean to not listen.
For the
I just,
first
like
one?
yeah, I just didn't think I was like, "Oh, I take, like, 1 or 2 on a long run," which was not enough for a long run, but it gets you through. And I just did not, like it just, like, didn't register to me, like you said, that, like, "Oh, you're actually going way faster,
Yeah.
and that extra 2 mi it just adds." Like, it just is yeah. Yeah, so I feel like it was a very rookie mistake, but it's okay.
I think it's a very common rookie mistake. And also,
Yeah.
like, yeah, the progression of your marathoning now is going to be so exciting. I mean, we have so many examples. I mean, Kira is one of them
Yeah.
of women whose first marathon just like wasn't what they thought it could be. I
Yeah.
get Kira's story is different, obviously, because her progression is totally different than most. But I mean, I think about Dakota and like there's
Yeah.
all these people whose first marathon were well past that 2:30 like barometer,
Yeah.
which I feel like we hold like 2:30
Yeah,
to
it's like the
some
standard.
standard.
It's
Yeah, I mean, like
kinda
similar
weird.
to amateur runners, we hold 3 hours to that standard too. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like a thing. Yeah. Hey, friends, this is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which brings me to the fact that every year I run the Donna Marathon, which is the national marathon to finish breast cancer. And this year, the race is the weekend of January 30th through February 1st. It is on the beautiful beaches of Jacksonville, Florida. Their motto is love over fear. This is Destination Love. It is the most beautiful, hopeful, amazing weekend in running that I attend every year. And my friend Amanda Napolitano, she's the executive director and has just done an amazing job cultivating an incredible weekend down in Jacksonville. So, actually, they still have their win a trip. You can actually enter to win a trip for this weekend in Jacksonville, Florida. You enter to win a 3-night stay at the Hilton Jacksonville, 2 race entries, and access to exclusive VIP events. And I'm going to put the link to enter to win in the show notes at sandyboyproductions.com. And I'll also have that in my stories on Instagram. If you want to register for the race, though, for the half marathon, the 5K, or the marathon, using the code Lindsay10 will get you $10 off your registration. And a big thanks to Cure Hydration for supporting the podcast. Cure Hydration packs are plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mixes with no added sugar, a natural, delicious, and convenient way to keep you hydrated without the artificial stuff. They actually have a kids line as well. Kid-approved hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar or artificial flavors. This is pediatrician approved and my kids love it. And it's so much better than a sugary sports drink. Plus, they're getting those electrolytes they need after a sweaty time out on the soccer field or whatever sport they're doing. This is perfect for workouts, travel, mornings, and honestly, it makes water taste way better. It's so much more fun to drink water when you have a Cure packet mixed into your water. For all Have Another listeners, you can get 20% off your first order at curehydration.com/another. And if you get a post-purchase survey, make sure to let them know you heard about Cure right here on All Have Another podcast. It really helps support the show. Real ingredients, real hydration, ready for the whole family. All right, back to the show. So you ran at BYU though, so obviously we can talk
Mhm.
about Coach Taylor. I love to talk about Coach Taylor on this podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe share a little bit about that experience and the transition to pro running.
Yeah, I feel like, Coach Taylor and Coach Eyestone are very very different, obviously. And I feel like one of the biggest yeah, biggest they're like opposites.
Yeah.
But I mean, all runners just need something different, right? And so I feel like kind of my experience at BYU leading into this, I feel like it was a good I feel like it all ended up being a really good thing for me. I feel like my last year was not really what I wanted it to be. and running and just a lot of things. It was just a really hard year. And I think that honestly propelled me to kind of get off of the track and like make this big move to the roads. Like kind of like we were talking about earlier to the marathon. And even if it didn't have to be the marathon right away, it kind of propelled me to make this big jump from this track athlete that like Coach Taylor trained, right? Her forte is for sure track. And I just think it really propelled me to like get off the track and go to something different. And I think sometimes in order to improve, you really need to make a big jump. You really need to just do something totally different than what you have been doing for the last, like I was at BYU for like 6 years. And so I've been doing the same sort of things for a long time. And I think it was really important for me to just make that jump. And just like the training from Coach Taylor to Ed is very different because obviously like kind of like I said before, she's track, so a lot of our workout almost all of them are like really speed based. They're like on the track, they're fast, you have a decent amount of rest and then you're going to go really really fast. Versus with Ed, it's more of like tempos and like longer efforts where maybe you get like we have some workouts where we do like 12 1Ks and we only have 60 seconds of rest. And so it's like you have like no rest and maybe we're not going quite as fast, but we do a ton of them and we do it with like not very much rest. And I feel like one cool thing that I've seen in my transition is like I felt like my speed was like up here and then it kind of went down here as I like gained. I was 55 miles in college. I got up to 80 in my first. So it was just like a huge jump in mileage. That's almost 30-mile increase within a couple months. And I don't know how my body liked it though. I think mileage is like good for me. Um, but I feel like I saw my speed kind of go down as I was like increasing and like
Mm-hmm.
doing all this like higher mileage and like longer workouts. And it's been really cool actually to see the progression of like the speed kind of dipped. And now I like see it kind of coming up again. And I'm like, oh, it still is there. Like we'll do some workouts where I was like we do a workout called fatigue miles. We do 8 miles at like a little slower than marathon pace just to get our legs tired. And then we come on the track and do mile repeats like super
Woo!
fast. And I hit, yeah, I know it's really hard. It's a good marathon one, but I hit these times in the mile repeats that were way faster than my college self ever would have hit. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like it's just been really fun to see like my body go through these transitions of like becoming a marathoner, but then like still having some speed. I would not say I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of speed, but I do have like some of that still, you know? And so yeah, it's been a really fun like whole transition.
How many mile repeats are we doing after that 8 miles at marathon pace?
Just three, but
Okay, 3. Okay.
yeah, three.
That's still a
So
lot though.
not
That's still a big workout.
it is a big workout, yeah. But I feel like if it's any more than three, I would be toast. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You can wrap
it's
your head
fun.
around the mile repeat though after doing the 8 miles kind of hard. You're like, okay, 1 mile at a time. I got this.
Yeah, 1 mile, it's kind of nice because then you do like 1 mile at a time and it's like it's on the tracks and you feel like a little bit different of like a
Yeah,
whole
different.
mood change, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like the 8 miles before is like the hardest thing ever because you're anticipating the miles later and
Yes.
you're like, I know this is gonna be so hard. Why do I actually not feel good? And it's like, oh, because I'm running a little bit faster.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like one of the scariest workouts, I feel like, but it's the definitely the most rewarding.
That's so good. So okay, we gotta rest the hamstring. We gotta figure this
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
Um, what are you looking forward to in
Yeah.
your like in the near but like for further future as well with running? Like what excites
Yeah.
you?
Good question. I'm laughing because I just sent a text message to Coach Eyestone, like, I was nearing the end of my first week. It was, like, Sunday or something. I sent him, like, an essay.
Oh.
I was like, "Okay, listen." I'm like, "I have this thing where, especially after a race that's, like, not quite as good as I wanted it to be, I just am, like, fired. I'm like, "I wanna run
Yeah.
another marathon right now, like, right
Yeah.
now. Like, when is the closest marathon I can sign up for?" But obviously, like, the hamstring needs to heal. So my biggest thing, I like sent him this message, and kind of what I told him was like, look, I really like cross country champs is in December, and I was really looking forward to that. I honestly don't think the hamstring is gonna make it there. If I'm gonna, I don't know. So if I miraculously heal in the next like week, so I can start training for that, then we'll do that, and that's exciting. But I'm kind of putting it out of my head so that I'm not sad when I miss it. You
Yeah.
know, well, I'll be sad either way, but I'm kind of trying to put it out of my head now to brace myself. after that, I think one of the things that I told him was like, and kind of one of the things that we talked about were my mistake in Chicago and all that. I kind of told him like, this was kind of where I feel like my mistake was. And I'm so ready to fix it. Like, I want to go do another marathon. And so I think honestly, what I'm excited for is a spring marathon. I am so excited for
Ah,
a spring marathon. And I don't know which one I'll be ready for, but like I just want to do another one. I think it's so funny because I feel like leading into this build, I was like, man, I'm like, I don't know if Chicago will take away from cross country champs, but like, which it probably has. But what I'm excited for and what I genuinely am like growing to actually love is the marathon. And so that's what's exciting to me is I want to do another spring marathon and I want to hopefully fix some of these like mistakes that I made. And I love that I can say I love the marathon now because last year at this time I could not say that. I was like, I hate it. I don't know why anybody ever does that even. So yeah.
yeah, it's really exciting. I just get that hamstring fixed because it's going to be
I
really
know. Dang it.
think about how much more fun it'll be too to
I
like
know.
be able
I
to race it
know.
without even thinking about your hamstring.
I know. And I was thinking too, so at the end of each marathon build, although the marathon took me like well, I did like it after grandma's. It took me a few tries to like the marathon, but the training part of it, I actually really love. Like just
Love
because it's my
it.
strength, I really like. And so at the end of each build, I've kind of been like a little bit sad. I'm like, I'm excited
Mm,
to race, but I'm kind of sad that the build is over. Like, it's sad. And so I feel like this time though was the first out of the three builds that I've had. This was the first time where I was like, I'm sad, but like I don't think I can handle this pain anymore. I
yeah,
was
you
like,
got to
we need
fix
to
it.
get, yeah. So I was like, that was yeah, I need to let it heal. And so Ed just kind of told me, he's like, we're not going to make any decisions on our next race until we get your hamstring healed. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
the best thing that he could have said because now I don't feel it's pressure to like get back for something, but I just know that he's supporting me and like getting healthy. So
Well, yeah,
yeah.
and like, well, it's nice that Chicago's an early fall race.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
gives you a lot of time.
Hmm.
Don't do cross.
I
Don't.
know.
I know you really
I
want to though,
know.
but I'm like, man, if you want to knock a spring marathon out of the park,
I
I'm like,
know. I
but maybe
know. I
you'll get an image and it won't be as much of a deal as you
That's what
think
I'm
it is.
thinking. Yeah, and that's my biggest thing right now is we're just kind of like, if we get an image, I don't it's just that thing where it's like, would we treat it any differently? And I'm like, well, at least we know a timeline.
You just gotta know,
But
yeah. Like, is it torn? Like, is it like
is it
partially
torn?
torn?
Yes, and that's what I wanna know. I'm like, is it just a strain? Like, I'm still in this hope that it's just like a mild strain that'll take 2
Right.
weeks to heal, and I'm like, "Oh, no,
Yeah.
we're almost up 2 weeks." Maybe but anyway, yeah, I think cross, although I'm so excited about it, I just know in my gut that it's probably not going to happen unless we have a miracle, which we really could, but
Yeah. Yeah, you can leave a
but
little
I don't
door
know.
open. You can leave a little
Yeah,
door
leave it
open.
open just in case, but yeah, I
Just
think the biggest thing that my sights are on is the spring marathon because that's like what I'm really loving right now. So
that's so exciting. And the fact that you love the training is huge because
yeah,
that is 90% of
it is.
the
Every time
time.
he sends a workout, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite one.
Oh my
And then he'll send
gosh,
one, and I'm like,
that's
oh,
so
this is my
good.
favorite one. Yeah. Unless we get on the track, then I'm like, I don't really like these. But
Oh, that's so good.
yeah.
Okay, non-running stuff. You mentioned you have a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
Yes. I have a Belgian Malinois. So he's like, if you picture a
Oh.
German Shepherd, but like a little bit smaller and a little bit less fur. So,
Oh, I have seen
and
him on
like
your
a lot of
Instagram.
energy. Yeah. Yeah. He's
Does
cute.
does he get to run with you a decent amount? I've seen him in some of your
Yes.
videos.
Yeah, so he runs with me every recovery day. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he'll run with me. And he has been losing his mind this last week and a half because I haven't been running. So I've been like taking him on walks and he'll like walk next to me and then like start jogging and like look at me like, come on, like,
He's
are
like,
we
"What's going
running
on?"
or? Yeah, so he runs with me. He loves
"Excuse me,
it.
ma'am. You're being too
Yes,
lazy for me."
you're way too slow.
Yeah. Is he a puppy or how old is he?
He's 3 now. So he is,
Okay.
like not getting old, but he's definitely not in his puppy stage anymore. But I thought I'd be so like I am sad that he's not in his puppy stage, but I love like him being trained and like more mature of a dog. So I love all
Oh,
of
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your husband is in physical therapy school,
Yeah.
so, like, what does he think about your hamstring?
Yeah. He's kind of similar. He's like, you just need to let it heal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been giving me a lot of help and advice and like working on it and doing everything that he knows so far of like what to do
Oh,
for
yeah,
it.
he
And
can, like,
so
work on it, like
yeah, he can. So that's been really nice. I think we're kind of at the point where like we've exhausted a lot of and I work with the PT here as well, and we're all just kind of at the point where like we've literally tried everything for it. So
yeah.
let's just see what's going on so we get more of
Yep.
like a timeline. And yeah, kind of frustrating, but yeah, it's okay. So
Yep. Some big swings this spring, I'm excited.
I hope,
Um,
yeah.
okay, so let's wrap here with end of podcast questions. Aubrey's, like,
Yeah.
gotta go to school and teach here in a little bit. I was gonna say you've already got your workout in for the day, but we're resting. We're
Yeah, we're
resting.
resting. It's nice.
What is something professionally or personally you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, okay. I think personally, I'd love to travel more. So specifically, we went to Europe in the summer and that was like super fun. We went to like Paris and Greece and Croatia. And so now
Fun.
I think I want to go to like Japan or some, you know, like somewhere that's like totally different. Cause I feel like I don't know, just like, I feel like culturally, Japan seems like just very different than the culture of the US. And so I want to go experience that. So that's something personally that I would love to go travel to like Japan or like, I don't know, just somewhere that's like totally different than here.
And you did that strictly, like, for fun, not, like,
Yeah.
not running related at all?
Yeah, it was just purely for fun. Yeah, we did like a little family trip and it
Nice.
was awesome. It was kind of weird to like not be traveling for running. I was like, "Oh, I actually don't have to worry about like what's going to upset my stomach because it doesn't matter. Like I don't have a rate, you know?" So
Right.
it was kind
So
of it
good.
was nice. But
So good.
yeah.
Do you have any books or shows or podcasts or anything that you listen to or read that you can share?
Yeah, I love Akira's book, Don't Call It a
Oh.
Comeback. Yeah, so I feel like that would be my biggest recommendation on a book. I watch too many TV shows, so
That's good.
I'm trying to think of a
You
show.
gotta
Let's see.
rest.
That's like my favorite, like when it's like end of the day, workout day, you know, just go watch a show. So, let's see, I've been watching one right now called Chad Powers, and it's a
Oh,
really it's kind of like a dumb funny, but it's really funny. And it comes
okay.
out like the last episode comes out in next week actually. So anyway, so that's a good show if you just want a good laugh, like a dumb laugh. So
What is it
yeah.
on?
It's on Hulu. Yeah, it has, like, Glenn Powell, and he's, like, a
Okay.
football player, and then yeah, he anyway, I don't wanna give it away. I'm terrible at giving things away, but it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
What is your last message to leave with the audience today?
Oh, I think my biggest message would just be go do something that scares you and take all the learning that you can from it because the best is coming for you, and all you gotta do is start. So, do something that scares you.
Do it. Aubrey
Yeah.
Frentheway, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, friends, for being here today. Thank you, Aubrey, for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed getting to know you and cannot wait to cheer for you in your next marathon. Thank you so much, friends, for being here and continuing to listen to the show. I'm so grateful for each and every listener. If you're going to be at the Monumental Marathon, the Richmond Marathon, or CIM this fall and early winter, I will be at all three of those races, and I hope to see you there. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next week on I'll Have Another with Lindsay Hine podcast.